In the quiet heart of Nigeria, surrounded by dusty roads, green farmlands, and the sound of birds waking each morning, there once was a village called Dasu. Dasu was peaceful, humble, and full of people who lived simply. Everyone knew everyone else. Children ran through the narrow paths, women fetched water from the stream, and men worked on their farms from sunrise to sunset. But behind that peace was a secret so dark that it would one day change the village forever. It was a story that people in nearby towns would talk about for years, a story about trust, deception, and a man named Jude, who sold meat at the center of the marketplace. Jude was not originally from Dasu. He had arrived about 4 years before the story began. He told people he had come from another part of the country after losing everything to a fire. He spoke softly, smiled often, and appeared hardworking. Within a few months, the villagers had welcomed him like a brother. He built a small shop near the marketplace, just beside the blacksmith's stall. The roof was made of old roofing sheets, and the walls were built from clay. He painted the wooden signboard with his own hands. On it was written in bold letters, "Jude's fresh meat always affordable, always delicious." Every morning, smoke rose from behind his shop as he roasted meat for early customers. The smell drifted through the market, catching the noses of hungry workers and passers-by. "Ah, Jude's meat again today," people would say. "Nobody roasts meat like that man." They trusted him completely. Among his regular customers was Ada, a cheerful young woman known for her kindness. She often bought meat from Jude to cook for her family. There was also Kofi, a farmer who loved roasted meat after a long day in the field, and Shola and Madhu, 2 friends who ran a small palm wine joint near the riverbank. Life in Dasu moved on peacefully. Jude became part of the community. He attended weddings, funerals, and market festivals. He laughed with the elders and played with the children. But something strange began to happen. One evening, Ada went to buy meat from Jude. She noticed the meat looked slightly different, darker, with a texture she had never seen before. "Brother Jude," she said curiously, "this meat looks new. What kind of animal is this?" Jude smiled, his eyes narrowing slightly. "It's bushmeat," he replied confidently. "Very special one, from the deep forest. You won't find it anywhere else." Ada nodded and bought a small piece. She trusted Jude, everyone did. But as she cooked it that night, the smell seemed different, stronger than goat meat, heavier than beef. She ignored her thoughts, believing it was just the type of spice Jude used. Her family ate and praised the taste. Days passed, and more people in Dasu started talking about Jude's meat. It was always tender, always flavorful, and strangely filling. "He must have the best supplier," Kofi once said. "Maybe his family hunts for him from the forest." Jude only smiled when people asked. But not everyone was convinced. Madhu, who worked in the palm wine joint, once visited Jude early in the morning to buy meat for his customers. He arrived before the market was open and saw Jude dragging a large, covered sack behind his shop. "Morning, Jude," Madhu shouted. Jude froze for a moment, then quickly smiled. "Ah, Madhu, you're early today. I was just bringing in a new delivery." He forced a laugh and changed the topic. That moment stayed in Madhu's mind. The sack was too big, too heavy. It didn't look like goat or cow meat inside, but he said nothing. He didn't want to accuse an innocent man. Weeks later, strange rumors began to spread. A young hunter had gone missing in the forest near Dasu. His name was Ebuka. The whole village searched for him but found nothing. People said maybe wild animals had attacked him. Life went on. Not long after, another man disappeared, a stranger passing through the village on his way to the city. Still, nobody suspected Jude. One rainy evening, Ada and Shola went to the market late to buy meat. Jude's shop was still open. The light from his lantern flickered through the darkness. "Ah, Jude, you never close," Shola joked. "Business is good," Jude replied, laughing nervously. As he wrapped their meat, Ada noticed something strange on the table, a small ring with the letter E engraved on it. She had seen that ring before. It belonged to Ebuka, the missing hunter. A heart pounded. "Jude," she asked softly, "where did you get this ring?" Jude looked at her, his smile fading slightly. Oh, that. It was on the ground outside. Maybe someone dropped it. He quickly took the ring and slipped it into his pocket. And Shola left without saying more, but they both knew something was not right. The next morning, Ada went to see Madhu and told him everything. Madhu shared his own story about the large sack Jude dragged that early morning. They all decided to tell Kofi, who was one of the elder sons. That night, the four of them, Ada, Shola, Madhu, and Kofi, met secretly behind the palm wine joint. The rain was falling lightly, and thunder rumbled in the distance. We can't accuse him without proof, Kofi said. We need to catch him ourselves. They made a plan. The next day, they pretended to be going to the forest to fetch firewood, but they were actually watching Jude's shop from a distance. Around sunset, Jude locked the front of his stall and quietly slipped out through the back with a small lantern and a knife hanging from his belt. The four friends followed him silently through the narrow path leading to the old abandoned well behind the village. The place was known to be quiet at night. Jude stopped near a patch of bush and began digging the ground with a shovel. Ada gasped softly when she saw what looked like a blood-stained cloth beside him. That was enough. Kofi ran ahead to call the village chief and some men. By the time they returned, Jude had disappeared into the darkness, but the evidence he left behind was enough to confirm their fears. When they dug the ground, they found several old items belonging to people who had gone missing: rings, shoes, clothes, and bags. The truth spread through the village like wildfire. People cried, screamed, and ran toward Jude's shop. Jude was caught early the next morning while trying to flee toward the main road. He was brought back to Dasu and questioned by the elders. The truth came out bit by bit. Jude had been killing unsuspecting travelers and using their flesh to mix with animal meat, which he sold in the market.